What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Best Podcast. Before we get today started, I want to plug some dates. April 25th, I will be at Westport Funny Bone for the Wild Card Comedy Showcase. It's a game where we have a bunch of cards out on a table. Each one of them has a different meaning. We pull them out while we do our sets, and it adds a fun little challenge. Come out, grab those tickets. Also, then the 26th, I will be in Edwardsville, Illinois. Ryan Ballard has put me on a show, and I don't know what it's called, but I'm plugging it anyway. He's a fan of the podcast. I know it's going to be a good time. He always puts on good shows. So if you're in Edwardsville and you want to come out, come see me, come say hi. Let's hang out. Let's be friends, please. Today, my guest is Joe Tillman. He is a comedian based out of St. Louis, but he's also just a friend of mine and a big fan of the podcast. If you don't like the podcast and you've ever left a negative comment, you've probably argued with him in the comment section. We had a good time. We talked about a whole bunch of stuff, conspiracy theories and food and movies and soundtracks and colognes and all kinds of stuff. But it was a lot of fun. Coffee, too. Yeah, I think you guys are going to like the episode. So without further ado, enjoy. Thanks for joining me, man. I appreciate it. Just getting off of work. I appreciate the support. I can always tell when you've gotten a hold of a video because it'll go from like 100 views to like 400 views in like 30 minutes. And I'm like, what happened? And it's like, oh, I think Joe must have this one on repeat or something.
All day, every day.
Yeah. That's cool. No, I like it. I want to open it up. I want to start having more like fans on, and I want people to be able to like submit questions and stuff. I kind of, I don't know. And I do want to try to do like a live podcast sometime. I want to set it up. I think either Funny Bone or Helium. I want to try to set it up where the audience submits questions, where like I have like a piece of paper that just says like, who, what, where, when, why is the best blank, and then people could fill it out, and then we draw it out of a hat and have like 2-3 people
debate
on stage, and like we talk about it, like that. Kind of like I don't know if you've seen Are You Garbage, but they do a lot of that.
Sounds familiar. Never seen it.
You've never seen it? Oh man, it's a great podcast. It's one of my all-time favorites. That's always good to just plug a better podcast right in the beginning of your podcast. No, they are great. They're so much fun, and a lot of what they do is it's like fun questions, and it's kind of like a game, but it doesn't matter if you win or lose. And so like that's kind of where I got the idea for this stuff from, because it's like anytime somebody debates, says, "Oh, this is the best." Well, it's your opinion. There's no way to prove it right or wrong.
It's just like your opinion, man.
Yeah. But it is so funny. Today I had a clip that came out about Rebecca Jaffe and I talking about how much we don't like Oreos, and the first comment that I got on it was, "Go fuck yourself." I was like, "Whoa." It's just a cookie, man. Chill.
I saw it, man. Your comment section gets so mean for no
Oh, yeah.
reason.
People, yeah. Every now and then I'll get a nice one. But man, majority of the time is just people just berating me. And I was like, okay.
You'll see me sometimes. You've seen my tag on the comment
section.
Yeah. Like, sometimes I get in there, I'm like, that's just so unnecessary.
Oh, come on. Yeah. I appreciate any positive feedback you give me. I'm like, all right, thanks, man.
It takes so much effort for me not to just be cunty from behind my phone screen to
I really
people,
don't.
dude.
You know what's weird is it doesn't bother me when people are like, oh, you're fat, you're gay, you're retarded, or whatever, because I get that all the time.
We get that from our friends.
Yeah. It doesn't bother me when I get it online, because I'm just like, okay, well, you saw a 30-second clip and just imagine my whole life, It's it's when you get comments from people that you actually know that are kind of cunty. And you're like, all right, man, hey,
like, hey,
we're all just trying. Like,
I still have to see you tomorrow.
yeah, like, okay, dude, we still have to hang out. Like we are gonna be together again soon. Let's start with this one. What's the best scent combination?
Ooh, are we talking body scent?
You could do whatever. I mean, you can do both. You could do body scent. You could say scent you want to like walk in your house, and that's what first thing that hits you. Because those are two very different things. Car scent, it could be anything, but
okay. So my wife loves this, and I just go with it. I'm a real white girl about my soaps. There's a company called the Bathhouse. They used to make one that was my favorite. It was called Gypsy. I was like, ooh, that smells nice. I'll wear that with red Polo cologne.
Gypsy with red Polo cologne. Okay.
Yeah. My brother told me I look and smell like a fucking Armenian.
Hey. Which is not a bad thing.
We can cut that if we need to.
Yeah, no. It's okay. It is funny though, like, because I think, oh man, I don't want to say this if this is wrong, and then it just sounds even more racist. But aren't a lot of gypsies Armenian?
No.
Like, isn't that like a or
no,
they?
But I'm not
Romanian.
It's Romanian. So it's the Romani people were Romanian, and then they also spread around Europe a little bit. My family's Bohemian, and that's Czechoslovakian. As far as I understand it, my family left Czechoslovakia around the time the borders started speaking German.
Okay.
So like the early to late 20s, when everything was going sideways in World War I Germany, they're like, this is probably going to happen again. We should get the fuck out of here.
That's crazy. That is pretty cool though. I'm a big. You said you liked history. I like history too. I didn't. There's not a ton, I didn't make a ton of history questions, but I don't know. Because it's kind of hard to, what's the best time to be alive? You know what I mean? Like
now.
Yeah, 100%. I do always kind of wish that I had been alive during World War II.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know about you, but growing up, I always wanted to be like in World War II. Like,
oh yeah.
I'm sure it was absolute miserable, but
Yeah. But you grow up and you're too young and you watch a show like Band of Brothers. Or
Band of Brothers, Saving Private Ryan. Yeah.
And you just think to yourself like, wow, the brotherhood these guys had. I think my buddy might sell me for a nickel.
I know a couple people that would stab me over a parking spot. No, I when I was a kid, I used to have a reoccurring dream that I would go to the Revolutionary War, but with modern weapons, and just
okay. I got my question for you. What's the best modern weapon to bring back to the Revolutionary War?
I mean, oh man, that's such a. I mean, I think one solid machine gun, one 240 or something like that. And you would do so much damage. Yeah, because they're all in lines. They're all standing there. I mean, it would just be... You would just traverse left and right, and...
You put a fucking L-can on top of it, they don't even see you.
Yeah. So I don't know. Arty would be kind of cool, or modern day mortars and stuff. To just be like, oh, hey, yeah, I parked this thing 4 miles away. And I'm just going to we've got the whole hillside just zeroed in, so.
How much faster do you think America would have become the dominant power in the world at that
Oh,
point?
it would have been terrible because it would have just become an instant, I mean, we would have taken everything.
Yeah, it would have been like having cheat codes in video games.
I was thinking about this the other day, like how tough must the Mexicans on the other side of the Rio Grande River have been if that's where Texas stopped. You know what I mean? Like I like to think that we got to the river and we're like, this is enough. We're good. But really, probably what happened was they tried to cross the river and just got beat back and beat back and beat back. And then they were like, okay, all right. But All right, fair point. That's yours. This is ours.
This is your side. This is our side. We'll yell at each other like Bostonians.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I think about that all the time. Like we always say, like, oh well, this is a natural border, so we stopped it here, and it's like, no, we didn't. We just couldn't beat the people on the other side of that river, so that's why we stopped. If we could have wiped them out, we would have taken the whole, bottom half of Central America. But whatever. So anyway, best sense. No, I like that red polo with what was it, gypsy?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
It's very floral. It's I'm gonna be gross. It's panty dropper.
Okay. All right. Hey, it works.
Mom and Papa Newmark, if you're watching, I apologize.
That's the thing. When you get in here and you start having a conversation, you're like, oh, I'm just having a fun time. And then you're like, oh, it's being recorded. Like, there have been so many times where someone's brought up something like mildly sexual and I've wanted to comment on it. And then I was like, I still have to go to Thanksgiving with my in-laws. Like, I probably better not say this, And my wife's cool. My wife's just like, yeah, whatever you got, you got to do. But
that's my wife realized very early when she started dating a comedian. I am like, there's Butterball under here that is gonna love you and treat you right.
Yeah.
And there's just 95 layers of sex jokes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. My wife is the exact same way. One of the biggest fights we ever got in was, it started with her turning and yelling at me, not everything is a joke, Eric. And I was like, not everything is a joke yet, Kelly. Like that. And then we just went back and forth. So, I mean, it is what it is. We are who we are. You were talking to you when we were outside, you were saying that you got diagnosed with autism as an adult?
At like 22, I think. No, I met my wife at 22, 24. I figured out 2 years into the relationship that something was off upstairs.
Was she suggesting it? Was she kind of like, hey, Joe?
No. So my one of my best friends in college, really great guy. He's never going to watch this, I don't think. But
shout out, great guy.
I love him. Steven, I love you. This is not personal. So we know he's got the tism. He refuses to take any kind of assessment at all. It's fine. We love him. We're boys.
Yeah.
We're history boys. We love the Roman Empire and we talk about movies. So
who doesn't love the Roman Empire, right?
So we all take this assessment together, and then he doesn't take it, and the other two guys come back clean. Mine just like, yeah, you got Asperger's. I'm like, oh, sweet. Let me go to my doctor about this.
So is it like an online test?
It's the Asperger's assessment. It's like 100. It's like 100 questions based on your personality, and it'll tell you like how neurotypical, how neurodivergent you are. And I scored like super high neurodivergency on all of the Asperger's triggers.
What? All right. So as someone, I'm not a doctor. I don't know anything about Asperger's. I don't know. I don't know anything about it, but there's so many people these days that are neurodivergent that it makes me like, who's neurotypical? Like,
Right.
I have ADHD, so is that technically neurodivergent? Because it's not
actually,
a normal functioning thought process. Like,
It's considered neurodivergency, and that's the thing. Like everybody's got their own thing, right?
Yeah.
I'm burping like a motherfucker. Yeah, everybody's got their own thing.
You chugged that coffee so fast. Yeah, that coffee was gone. We were 3 minutes into I was like, all right.
Yeah, so I mean, like everybody's got their own thing, and that's frankly for me as my entire life motto. It comes down to a Lil Jon song, and it's
to
chorus,
the window. Oh, sorry.
The
All
chorus-
right, sorry.
The chorus is, if you don't give a damn, we don't give a fuck. Don't start no shit, won't be no shit. So, like, just don't make any one thing your entire personality, and I'll gel with you. Like,
Okay.
unless, that's, like, your most passionate thing, in which case, I'll probably want to learn about it.
Yeah, like I've made comedy my entire personality. We were talking about that outside. You were like, "What do you do outside of?" I was like, "Nothing. I do nothing outside of comedy. If I'm not up here doing podcasts or doing shows, I'm at home, like with my kids, and yeah, I have no life. Like I have no hobbies. I don't play video games. I don't even watch too much TV really. Like,
But you're out here killing it.
oh yeah, killing it. I think let's go back to the YouTube comment section. We'll see how killing it I am. I just tried this new thing today where I put some clips with like Subway Surfer underneath because I've seen people doing that, and it's a good way to like get people to engage and stuff like that. And then comics that I know started messaging me, and they're like, "You hack." They're like, "What would Dave Attell think?" I was like, "I think he would think I'm trying to trick the algorithm into putting my content out there. That's what I think he would think." Sorry, I'm not doing Bill Hicks level clips every day. All right,
dude, you could lose. I've lost an hour one time to Subway Surfer clips because
yeah.
Because like I just hear the background, but I'm like, I wonder how far this guy can get.
Yeah, I watch it. There's several, like Theo Vaughn always has clips, and then there's like Grand Theft Auto underneath it or something.
Yeah.
And it's like I watch the clip to hear what they're talking about, and then I'll watch it again to watch the video game. You know, like oh, maybe you'll do better this time around. You know, they always just fall off in the end. Oh, you said you're into cooking. What's the best meal you can cook?
I can make Emo's recipe at home. My dad grew up with the Emos brothers and worked at their first restaurant. So like he taught me very early how to make pizza. That's
pretty impressive.
My wife tells me all the time, she's like, "That's why I married you."
For the emos at home.
For the pizza at home, I cook pretty much anything I can hunt or fish. I suck ass at fishing, dude.
Yeah,
I like it.
I'm not
anything.
I could count on probably one hand the number of times I've been fishing. I don't mind it. It's fun. It's relaxing. But I talk too much, and my dad would always get frustrated with me.
Right.
He would just be like,
"It's
buddy, come on!" Like
you hit a certain age and you realize that you weren't actually going to scare the fish. Your dad just wanted some peace and quiet.
Yeah, that is true. I never thought about that because there was one time we went like deep sea fishing. We were in Alaska. We went out on like a boat, and we were trying to catch something. Maybe it wasn't Alaska. I don't know where it was. But anyway, point is we were out there and somebody said something like, "Hey, chill, you're going to scare away all the fish." And I was like, "Oh," not thinking like we had two giant motors drive us out to the middle of, I was like, "Oh, that didn't scare them away?" Like, but okay.
Yeah, I do real fried rice. Like, yeah.
I love fried rice so much.
Yeah, that was like the JB podcast where you were talking about the most dangerous places to get Chinese or the best places to get Chinese.
Yeah.
A place called St. Louis Kitchen up on North Kings Highway.
St. Louis Kitchen, okay.
Sketchiest fucking place on earth. But for $8, they'll load you down with lo mein and chicken. And like, best fucking lo mein I've ever had.
Let's go. Let's go. I just talked about that yesterday with, I had Tone in here. And comedian Tone and Prince Jig, and we were talking about Chinese food in St. Louis is just better. It's just better. It is.
It's just better.
And I told him, I was like, I've been to Hong Kong and had Chinese food, and I was like, I could get better on Del Mar. You know, like it's like it's different. It's different. And if anybody out there is like, they're stupid, it's like, Jesus. No, it is delicious. I don't know what we're doing. Like, I almost feel like Tone said, he's like, hey, y'all need to like write letters to your family and stuff and spread this recipe around, because when he said he went to California and he was like, it was trash. You know, another thing that they don't do everywhere?
What?
Queso dip.
Really?
The white queso dip you get at Mexican restaurants.
That's not an everywhere thing.
That's not an everywhere thing. I've been to Texas. I've been to California. I've been like all over the place. And you walk in. I mean, Arizona has like a weird version of it, but that's mostly because they're obsessed with their hatch chilies, like those green ones. And it's like it's different. It's orange and it's like thick, but it's like. How did we invent queso dip, you know?
Damn.
Midwest. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what the best thing I can cook is. I used to be really into smoking meat. I have a smoker at home, but I haven't touched it in years because like I said, I'm always up here doing stuff. But that's just a shitty excuse, honestly, because I could. There's a lot of times when my kids are at school and
Yeah, you got free
I'm
time.
editing, and it would take nothing to throw ribs on the smoker, and then go back to editing and not have to touch them for an hour and a half. But whatever. Barbecue pork steaks. I used to be pretty good at making barbecue pork steaks, and I have a mashed potato recipe that might be why my wife is still married to me. I don't know if you mess with mashed potatoes.
I do.
But you get the baby reds, all right? Skin still on. Boil them for 25 minutes, or you put them in a pot, bring the water to a boil, then you reduce it to just a simmer and let them cook for like 25 minutes until they're like soft. You can just drop the knife in and it just... then you drain the water, mash them, add milk, like a couple cloves of garlic, Parmesan, butter, and salt.
The parm is what ties it together on that, dude.
The
That
parm is what brings it in. Yeah, people wouldn't think about it, but nice, like fresh shredded parm. Oh man, you can get some like Schnucks blocks of parm and just grate it in there. Oh, it's pretty nice. And yeah, my wife's a big fan of my mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
So
my big one right now that my friends keep raving about is my mac and cheese, and it's like my laziest recipe.
really,
Yeah, I just spruce up the like the Stouffer's mac and cheese you can get pre-made at
Yeah,
Schnucks.
yeah.
I just spruce that up. Like I get like for game day, I'll grab my crock pot, I'll get like 5 packs of the Stouffer's mac and cheese, thaw it out, throw it in the crock pot, whole fucking block of Velveeta, and then I just hit it with whatever spices I'm feeling like that day. And then about halfway through it, sprinkle over some cheddar, sprinkle on some parm.
yeah,
Oh,
I'm in. Oh man, that sounds delicious. Yeah, contrary to popular belief, some white people do season their food.
right.
And I'm a little sick of this stereotype. I mean, it's not the worst one in the world, but yeah, it's still like, come on.
I think JB hit it on the head, dude. It's country versus city.
It is country. He did, yeah, because he's like, you're a country white. That is a big difference, like that. And I'm trying to get him back in here. You know what's weird is that everybody, when I started this podcast, everybody was like, you need to do military stuff. You need to just do military stuff. That's all you need to do. Like, that's your lane. And I was like, I don't want to just do military stuff. Like, I like talking about it, but like, I don't want to be tied to one thing. And people didn't believe me. And then JB came in here, and the clip of us talking about rotisserie chicken
It was amazing.
got 500,000 views or whatever, and I showed it to people, and they're like, all right, man, maybe stray away from the military stuff. And it's like, yeah, dude. Best dog breed.
Oh, okay. I'm fucking torn on this one because I had Rottweilers my entire life.
Okay.
We can't afford a Rottweiler because the purebred breeding is getting real
It's insane.
thin.
It's
dude.
insane.
Puppies, like there are fixed puppies now going for like $2,500. They were like $800 when I was in high school. And unfixed, I mean, depending on the specimen, you can go up to like 10 grand. I'm not. I'm a comedian.
Yeah. Like, all right, man.
Yeah.
It's a dog.
It's a dog. But then my wife and I got really lucky with our dog. He was a rescue. He was a blackmouth cur, is what they told us at the Humane Society.
He's a what?
Blackmouth cur. So the book dog from Old Yeller.
It's that definitely sounds like a slur. Like,
It really does.
Yeah. We got a couple broth-mouthed curs back there. Like, whoa, Grandpa, you can't say that anymore. No.
So they told us he was a blackmouth cur, and I picked him because I've always wanted to have a dog to go squirrel hunting with.
Okay.
Because that's like growing up. I have the joke about like being a cop's kid and being poor, but like we ate what we hunted, and I've had squirrel a couple of times, but I've never shot and ate squirrel yet, so I'm excited. And my dog loves it. But when he got out of puppy phase, all of everything that looked like a blackmouth cur puppy went away, and he just full Rhodesian Ridgeback. The only thing he doesn't have is the ridge. Like he's got discoloration all the way up the back and everything where the ridge should be. So he's almost He's almost purebred. He's a mutt. Like all, so any Ridgeback dog that doesn't have a ridge is a mix. That's like a genetic thing you can only get with the purebreds. But he is the smartest dog I've had in a long time. But my Rottweilers, I still really special place for him. Like,
so growing up, we had a dog from the pound, just a Humane Society special, and on the card it said Lab, Redbone Coonhound, Sheltie, ? Yeah, and when he got older, see, it was weird because when we went to pick him out, he was in a pen with like 4 or 5 brothers and sisters, and his brother was bright red and long floppy ears, right? Mm-hmm. And he had shorter ears that were kind of curved, and we were like, oh, okay, I could see he's kind of a mix of everything. As soon as he got, 6 months old, we're like, oh, you're a pit bull. Oh, you're a pit bull. You're 100% a pit bull. You are a pit bull with like a smidge of lab in there. Oh, and he was the best dog ever. Oh, man, I love that dog so much. He made it like 14 years, and he was just like, he was smart, and he was so friendly, and he was always good to people and stuff like that. And now we have a corgi, which was 100% my wife's doing. And because I got a bad back. I don't want to bend over to pet a dog, especially one whose legs are this long. You know what I mean?
Like the size of a loaf of bread.
Yeah, he's actually, he's a big boy, though. For a corgi, he's a big boy. But,
good boy.
Yeah. But now he's like my best friend. Of course, I was the stereotypical dad. I didn't want the dog, but then nobody else took care of the dog. Mm-hmm. So now he's my best friend. And every time I come home, it's just, he lays on my neck. And anytime I move, he like gets up. He's like, where are we going? Where are you going? You're not leaving again, are you? And he's like my best friend now. So I'm torn, but I think, if I had to pick, if they were like, hey, you get one dog breed, all the rest are going extinct, I think I'd have to pick pit bull.
I get
it. They know they get a bad rap, but they're the best. They're such good dogs.
Legitimately, pit bulls and Rottweilers are two of the best family.
What is it about Rottweilers because I've never had one?
So they came from Germany, but they were originally the working dog of the Roman Empire.
Okay.
So they're a very stout breed. They're super intelligent. They love to have a job. They like to play. They take care of their family. Like, my parents got a Rottweiler when they had me, and then technically it was my brother's dog. He's 12 years older than me, so they had her for like 2 years. And so they had me, and then I became her baby. Like, nobody who wasn't family was allowed to be near me. And so I was out in like a baby carrier in the front yard while my mom was gardening, and she was just laying down next to me. And the male lady who had known her at this point for 2-3 years went to come say hi to me because I'd just been brought home, and she was just like down in front of her like, this is my baby. I don't know you anymore.
Yeah.
Plus, you can ride them like horses when you're a baby. And,
okay.
I would love that for my wife and my kids.
I've got a buddy who is he is 100% into boxers. His whole family, boxers. That's all they've ever had. And I never knew much about them, but I love those. They're fun to be around. They're kind of wild and crazy, and I don't know how smart they are because they seem kind of dumb like that. But it is super cool to watch them like just bat things around and just go wild. Like, I don't know. It's hard to get a bad dog.
It is.
You know what I mean?
It's cliche, but honestly, if your dog is an asshole, you might.
It's because you're an asshole.
Yeah, you might be an asshole. I'm sorry.
Yeah, if your dog's a dick, it's because you're a dick. Like, that's just the way it goes. There's some dogs I don't think I would ever. I don't know. My aunt has a bunch of tiny, like, Jack Russell Terriers, and she got real into French Bulldogs for a while.
Those are
and
just
like,
cats.
Yeah, if a dog is too small, I'm just like, what's the point?
Yeah.
But I will say this. I never had cats ever, and then I got married. Now we have 4 cats because my wife loves cats. 3 of those cats if they were on fire, I don't know if I would do too much to put them out. I would just be like, you got yourself in those. You can get it. But one of them is the most affectionate animal I've ever been around. And every time people are like, cats don't give a shit, I was like, no, most cats don't give a shit.
Yeah.
And I have a theory that they're not fully domesticated yet. They're still just figuring it. They're still like, I might just go back to being feral. You know, like at any point
that
they could
transition is so quick.
Like I bet 5,000 years ago or whatever, dogs were probably like cats, where people are like, I can't figure it out. What is this? I don't understand his personality. It's like, yeah, he hasn't decided whether or not to kill you yet. That's what cats are doing. They're like, I like air conditioning, but man, I'm getting annoyed with this petting. You know, like that. I still feel like cats are just like, they're making up their mind whether or not they want to be fully domesticated or not.
For sure.
Yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
Cats aren't owned by a family for the most part.
Mm-mm.
Cats have a family that they own, and they're like, I will give you this mouse because I need to feed you or you'll leave me.
Yeah, I need to feed you because you're bad at hunting. Okay, so I'm just gonna do it for you. That's what it is. When they bring you stuff, it's like, hey, you suck. All right. You're going to die. Eat this so we can all keep going. You know, like, and I didn't realize that. But it is kind of cool because even the cat that's super affectionate, like when I come home, there are times where like she'll be on the couch and she'll look up. And I swear there have been times where she's just like, what's up? You know, like that. Yeah. And it's like, oh, you're back. Cool. It's like a cool roommate. Yeah. You know what I mean? Right, but it's like, hey, we can hang out or not. You know, whatever you want to do. No pressure. And I don't know. I think I'll always be a dog person at heart. But cats
are all right.
Cats are pretty dope. And when they play, when they like roll around and like bat things, it's pretty cute. Like it's hard to stay mad at a cat when it's chasing a laser or a string or something. You're like, all right, you just come here, man.
I had a cat growing up, but I never saw any of that.
And really? Was it just like an outdoor cat, or
no? She was a really good cat, Miss Kitty, but I just was way too little to play with her, really. But like I cat sat for one of my groups of friends. They had 4 cats in a 2-bedroom apartment. And that was a lot of cats.
That is a lot of cats.
And I would like go to bed, and then I'd wake up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, and I'd turn my phone light on, and there's just a set of eyes in every corner staring at me.
Oh yeah. Like, you can't believe in ghosts and be a cat owner. No. You can't be like super into ghosts and be a cat owner because things definitely go bump in the night, and
it's cats.
There's no explaining what it could be. They could have knocked over a vase. They could be throwing up. They could be hiding all the straws. You don't know. Like, it's just things are going to happen. They're going to play, and you can't be super freaked out by it.
Yeah.
Like, I had a buddy who spent the night one time, and he's like, dude, I think your house is haunted. I was like, no, it's not. We have 4 cats. Like, that's... anything that you are questioning can be explained by that last sentence.
Oh, yeah. They're doing cat shit, dude.
Oh, yeah. Like, cat shit all night. Yeah. Okay. Best type of wilderness for camping. Ooh. Are you like a mountain guy? Are you deep in the woods? Get me by a lake? Where are you headed?
If I could go camping anywhere, I like camping by a river.
By a river, okay.
Yeah, by a river. But coolest camping trip I ever went on, only vacation I went on when I was a kid. My parents saved up some money and took my brother and I all through like every national park out west, and my favorite camping spot was Glacier National Park.
I haven't been to Glacier National Park, but just out west.
Oh my god!
If you haven't ever been out that way, it's amazing.
It is. People overuse this phrase to death. It is a legitimately life-changing experience.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. My absolute favorite thing. I've been dreaming about this ever since like I started comedy. But when I left the military, we drove back and we went San Diego to Las Vegas. And then Las Vegas to Moab, Utah, beautiful. Moab, Utah to Denver, Denver to Kansas, Kansas back to Missouri. And man, from Vegas to Denver, you cross through you cross through like all these states. You go through, Nevada, obviously, Arizona for a little bit, then Utah into Colorado, and like you see it go from deserts to high plains to mountains, and it is, I mean, it is like the whole time we were just like, whoa, like look at this and stuff. And that's a lot of why I put up like wilderness outside. I love being outside. I love being like in I wish we could do a podcast outside, but
Yeah.
it's just too hard to control.
Too many variables.
Yeah.
But dude, that trip through Utah, it'll make you understand why the Mormons believe heaven's in Zion National Park.
I don't doubt it, man. I don't doubt it. Where is Glacier National Park?
Montana.
Yeah. I'd love to check that out.
High up in the Rockies, you can walk to where the Missouri River runs through Montana, and there it's cool.
I never thought about Montana once, and then I watched like 2 seasons of Yellowstone, and I was like, I'm going to Montana.
Start talking all gruff.
Yeah. Start wearing. I did last time I was in Nashville. They have these stores that are like buy one get 2 boots free or something like that. Buy 1 pair of boots or buy 2 pair of boots get 1 free or something like that. It's like crazy. And I was like, maybe I should get some boots. Like when my son was little and he was like, I want cowboy boots, and my wife loves country music, so she goes to concerts and she wanted cowboy boots. I was like, maybe I'll get some. I put them on for like 30 seconds. I was like, this isn't me. I can't do it. I felt like such a poser. I was like, I can't do this. And I just instantly took them off.
Respect to knowing your limits, man.
Yeah, well, I just knew it wasn't. I just wasn't. Like, I wear my boots. If I'm going to be outside or hiking or stuff like that, I still have my old military boots. I'll slide those on because they're already broken in. They're already comfy. They can withstand whatever. I actually, when I started doing comedy, I would get so nervous that I had to wear my old combat boots, and I would just stare at my feet when I was doing it, because I'm like, if I could do that, I can do this. Yeah. And I was just like, it was like a panic safety blanket. And it was several months before I could put tennis shoes on. Actually, it wasn't until somebody was like, nice boots, idiot. And I was like,
oh, shit.
Okay, yeah, all right. Yeah, I guess I don't need these anymore. That's how fickle I am. Like, I was just like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm stupid. All right, yeah. So you like by a river?
Yeah, Merrimack River is really fun. I go camping every year with my friends now off of the Merrimack River in Sullivan area.
Yeah.
Really fun spot. Or not Sullivan, Steelville area.
Steelville, yeah. I think, isn't that where they do the tubing and stuff?
Yeah.
I was about to say, I think I've done, I can't even remember. It's either Merrimack or Current River or something like that.
Both are great.
Yeah, and oh man, I forget how much fun a float trip is. It's the best.
Dude, if we could get a comic float trip together, I mean, people might die.
People would definitely black out and drown, for sure. But it would be fun up until that point.
Yeah, up until that point, it would probably be the best float trip ever.
Oh, it's so much fun. I love float trips so much because it's just, oh, man, you're just hanging out. Like, man, I love it. That's one thing I tried explaining it to a couple of my black friends recently. I'm like, have you ever been on a float trip? And they're like, no, man.
It's the most redneck shit on earth.
I was like, dude, no, don't knock it. And then I showed a video of like some people doing it, and he was like, damn, that does look like fun. And I was like, I know, right? Like,
float trip day has something for everybody. If you like to fish, do a canoe. If you like to see titties, pick a holiday weekend.
Yeah, exactly. Now, are you going to be surrounded by Trump flags? Yeah, maybe. Are you going to see some Confederate flags? Yeah, probably. But, it's for the most part, everybody's really chill. Everybody's really cool. And I recommend we open this up. So, like, listen, white people, if you're listening, we got to open this up to other races, okay? We got to bring them in. You know what would make a float trip better? Carne asada. You know what I mean? Like, why aren't we having just like, that should be everybody always talks about going to like a black people barbecue, going to like,
That's our barbecue that we don't invite anybody to.
Right? I know. That's our barbecue. We need to start branching out. This is our olive branch. This is how we repair America. Float trips. All 327 million of us. Current River next summer. Let's make it happen.
Fuck yeah.
Repair America.
The Bull float trip is already a thing. Tickets are dumb cheap. There's concerts. They're country concerts. You can get past that. It's basically pop music at this point anyway.
Bring a portable speaker. Play your own music. Whatever.
Then you get drunk and have a barbecue in your campsite that takes you way too long to make. Everybody's starving, so no matter how much sand is on your fucking burger, it doesn't matter.
The last time I went on a float trip, I loaded up my smoker in the back of my buddy's truck. Ooh. And he has a big RV, so we just used that for power. And we did steaks one night, and then we did burgers the next night. Ooh. And oh my gosh, I wanted to do ribs, but there was no way to like get back and like check on, because like for the smoker's great because you can just, you put something on and you walk away for 2 hours and then come back and just check on it, But there was no way to really check on it once we were on the river. So we ended up doing steaks because I could reverse sear those. And then the burgers, all I did was smoke them for like 30 minutes. Ooh. And they were so good. They were so good. But yeah, oh man, I got to do another float trip. That sounds like so much fun.
I'd be down to organize one.
Let's do it. Okay. If best big game, hunting or fishing. Like, not something that you've already bagged, but like a dream. Yeah.
Okay. So part of the reason why, and if you've ever listened to me talk about how I try to get in shape every year, I carry a fucking Alice pack that I've just loaded with weight plates. Because I had military surplus stuff for Boy Scouts. And that's... Sidebar, if you have any kids and they're Boy Scouts, get them military surplus. They're going to look like dorks. They're going to get made fun of. It's going to build character, and it's also durable as shit. Sorry. That was a TISM moment.
Public service announcement.
Yeah. So I just load up my fucking Alice pack, throw it in plates and shit, and I do it for hunting because I have this dream that at some point in my life I'm going to be able to afford an overland elk hunt.
Okay. And
so this year when I went down to my cousin's farm for deer season, my cousins were like, yeah, we've got 4-wheelers you can use and everything. And I was like, no, I'm good. Like, I want to walk. So I threw on my fucking 30-pound pack, took my rifle out there, had a fucking can of chew in one pocket, energy drink in the other one, and I walked 18 miles. And it was dope. It was on flat land. If I tried to do that in Montana, I'd get my ass kicked. But just to say I bagged an elk, I would potentially die for that opportunity.
That would be fun. I don't know if I would. I think big game. My gut instinct is to be like elephant, just to watch people be like, "You son of a bitch," But I don't know.
You want to hear a news story? Speaking of elephants.
Okay.
Germany decided they were going to get all pissy about how many people were doing big game hunting in Africa. And I can't remember what country in Africa it is, but Africa's like, your conservationists have done such a good job with the hunting programs of getting these elephant herds healthy and populated. Uh-huh. They're getting overpopulated and they're becoming a problem. We're going to send you 1,200 elephants if you don't lift this fucking embargo. and you can find out what it's like.
That's so funny. I hope they do it. I hope they do it. I hope Zimbabwe or whatever just drops 1,300 elephants in the middle of Berlin. Like, okay, now they're your problem. It's like, it's what we did. It's what Texas did with the migrants, sending them to New York. Yeah. That's what Africa's doing with their big game.
Yeah, they're just like, well, you guys wanted them, fucking take them.
I think the only animal that I would feel great about killing, oh, no, I'm good. I'm trying to lose weight. I'm on day 3. I brought this up in yesterday's podcast that I was like, everybody's going to be like, shut up. No, you're not. But it's like, give it time. Okay. Give me time. But I don't know. I think if I killed a giant anaconda, I'd be pretty happy about that.
You saw the Ice Cube movie, didn't you?
Oh, Anacondas? Yeah, with J-Lo? And yeah.
J-Lo was in that?
Yeah. In fact, it's a little concerning that you remember Ice Cube and not J-Lo from that, because that was early 90s J-Lo. That was...
Peak J-Lo?
I don't know, man. She's not... She hasn't aged in 30 years. I don't know what's going on. That's her and Jennifer Aniston are why the baby blood thing was so believable. You know,
Jennifer Aniston is ageless.
Although I did see a picture of her recently, and I was like, "Oh, there it is."
Oh, damn.
But no, I mean, she's still beautiful. Jennifer, if you're listening, and we know you are, you're gorgeous. All right, but no, she and J-Lo have not aged like at all, and I think it's pretty impressive. But yes, the Anaconda movie, I remember that as a kid being like, and now you go back and watch it, and it's so fake, it's so bad, but it's still. I don't know. I think if I bagged a 30-foot anaconda or something, you know, like just something, a monster, I'd feel like a modern day like
Dragon
knight
Slayer.
or something. Yeah.
You'd feel like the Marine from that recruitment ad from the 90s.
Yeah, exactly. That man, that was the one that got me too.
Was it really?
Oh yeah. Cause he's climbing a mountain and then he's on a bridge and he's fighting a dragon and stuff. And I was like, that's badass. That's so cool, you know? And I don't know. I do. I've said it before and I'm sure you've heard me say it, but I really want dragons to have been real so bad.
I do too.
So bad. Everybody wants dragons to be. Why wouldn't you want to live in a world where, like, hey, where there used to be giant fire-breathing beasts,
And
you
we
know?
beat them.
Yeah, and we beat them, and
Yeah.
we just, and not to get too religious on there, but there are mentions of giant creatures in the Bible that breathe fire, and I mean,
Yeah. Saint George, the last saint in England, murdered the last dragon in England. Like,
you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm down for it. Now if they came back, that'd be terrifying.
oh, it'd be some Rain of Fire shit.
That movie was so good. I loved that movie. People hate that movie. I realize that it's got a terrible like Rotten Tomatoes score and stuff. That movie is great. It's Christian Bale, Matthew McConaughey, early on Gerard Butler before 300, and it's a brilliant concept. I loved it.
It's not Gentleman McConaughey either. It's much more the meme of him smoking the cigarette, looking crazy.
Gruff. Yeah.
Like,
it's so funny about a movie that takes place in England after the fall of the world, and they're hunting dragons, and Matthew McConaughey shows up on a tank on an Abrams tank with a helicopter, and he's just a Kentucky. What are they? They were like Kentucky, National Guard reservists. And somehow they're the last people on Earth. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Somehow they're the last of the American military, and as far as we know, the last of America.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, oh, America was completely destroyed, except for McConaughey and his tank. Yeah, because he found out that the dragon's vision gets a little blurry at sunset. You know,
that's all he needed.
Spoiler alert, but yeah. Oh man, I loved that movie.
So good.
I think if I was going to fish, I mean, like, who doesn't want to catch a marlin?
Right.
But at the same time, like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't really desire to go back out on the open ocean in a tiny boat and then wrangle something that weighs the same as me and could harpoon me at any moment. Like,
yeah.
I kind of feel like let the oceans be, man. I bet you there's some stuff out there that we have no idea about.
I don't fuck with the ocean.
Yeah, ocean. Yeah.
I want to say the same thing. Like, I feel like tuna fishing or like sword fishing, something like that. But no, realistically for me, I just want to like set some kind of record for a big catfish in Missouri. Like,
okay.
Yeah.
You want to do it? How are you going to catch it? Are you going to noodle or whatever, where you just stick your arm in a hole and hope something bites?
I'm not drunk enough ever for that. But I would go out on a bass boat and just like set up my strongest fishing pole with the smelliest bait I could. And you know what? Pay like a local kid to drive for me so I can just get hammered drunk. And then I can sit there all day.
Yeah.
Just day drinking, listening to country music the way God intended.
hey, you can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning, right? Like,
Right. That's my grandpa Kramer used to tell us. He had a lot of sayings, but my favorite was on a summer fishing trip with him. He'd crack his first beer at 8 a.m. and he'd just look at us and be like, boys, it's 10 a.m. somewhere.
That's good. Shout out Grandpa Kramer, man. You said you like movies. What's the best war movie?
Oh.
It doesn't have to be one of these either. I've got 13 Hours, Saving Private Ryan, 1917, Hacksaw Ridge. They're just as examples, but
of those four, objectively, I think Saving Private Ryan. It set a tone in filmmaking for like 10 years that was masterful.
Yeah.
I would say the best war movie of all time, though, is Black Hawk Down.
Oh, good pull.
I've seen that movie, and, you know, we mentioned it, autism, but I've seriously seen that movie so many times I can quote it while I'm watching it. I fucking love that movie. It's so good.
That's a great movie. When I was in School of Infantry, they said every time you watch this, you'll learn something else of what not to do. Like, I don't need water. I don't need a sappy plate. Yeah. I don't need to take extra ammo. I don't. Yeah, it's like, no, you really do. You really, really do.
Still shed a
but it's still a great. It's such a great movie.
Every time I watch the movie, there's one scene where I still shed a thug tear every time I watch it, and it's Shigard and Gordon when Gordon comes back, or when Shigard comes back in, he goes, "Gordy's gone, bro. I'll be outside," and I'm like,
"Oh yeah. Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. Gordy's gone, bro. I'll be outside. Good luck." Yeah, you're just like, "Oh," I'm like, "This isn't gonna go well." You just like. Yeah, dude, that's such a great movie. I was thinking about the other day, Fury. I think Fury is underrated as far as war movies go.
Based on two different guys.
Really?
Yeah. So
I knew War Daddy was an actual person.
War Daddy was an actual guy, and then the strategies and tactics that War Daddy used were a British guy named it's gonna fucking kill me. It's such a goofy sounding name, but he invented the Blitzkrieg, and then the Germans stole it from him because the English military is stupid. I almost said a slur. The R one is one of my favorite words in my vocabulary, and it's going to get me in trouble at some point.
I miss it, you know? Yeah. Like there's some words that I miss. And it's like, hey, look, I don't want to offend anybody. Yeah. I don't want to make anybody feel like they're not welcome. But at the same time, some of these words just hit, you know? Like
I feel like the R1, like, I get it, you know? I get it when it comes to like people with real disabilities, and they also like aren't capable of understanding that it's not directed at them, and you never ever want to say that to somebody and like say it to hurt their feelings and be a piece of shit. But we could do the South Park approach.
That was the greatest. That episode was so great. And
just change its meaning.
That's so funny. Yeah, why can't we change its meaning?
Yeah.
Like, let's take it back.
Yeah, like perfect example, and I know we both really don't like to talk politics, but in the modern scape, if you think Trump's a rapist but Joe Biden isn't, you might be
yeah.
Or if you think Biden diddles kids and Trump never did anything weird with Ivanka, again, you might.
Yeah.
Like
there are some people that are so far they've just been drinking the Kool-Aid of whatever, you know, their party for so long that it's like, all right, come on, you can't admit anything. Like,
we talked about it too, and we'll get off of it because it's annoying.
Yeah, I can't even think about it for more than like 10 seconds before it just drives me insane with like there's no winning. There's
no winning. You're gonna piss off somebody. In the immortal words of a guy who was famous for like a week, someone's always going to hate you no matter what. Just be yourself and let people think you suck.
Yeah.
Shout out to the song Buttholes by Tom McDonald.
Oh, nice. Well, that's pretty much my life, like we talked about with the YouTube comments. Like that's 90% of my algorithm is just people being like, "You're stupid. That's the dumbest take I've ever heard." Right. And it's like, all right, man, sorry. Sorry, I don't like Oreos.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't like fucking Oreos.
I hate you. Kill yourself. And it's like, okay. I said one time on here that I got bored with Breaking Bad. I've never gotten so much hate comments in my life. My TikTok algorithm was just full of people just being like, kill yourself. I hope you get fired from your job. And it's like, what? Why? I don't like. Do you work on the show? Like, if you were Bryan Cranston and then he came in and was like, I hate you, I'd be like, fair enough.
Fair enough. That was your most acclaimed work.
All right, cool. I get it. All right. I mean, and I don't hate him. I like him.
Yeah.
I think I'd be like, oh, what's up, man? Like, I really liked you on Malcolm in the Middle. And the first season of Breaking Bad was pretty cool. After that, I kind of trailed off,
I lost
but,
you.
Yeah, but you're still cool, dude.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, Bryan Cranston, Saving Private Ryan.
Oh, shit.
Played a one-armed man.
He played a one-armed general.
He played a one-armed general. Shout out BC. 13 Hours is pretty underrated. 1917 is a great military movie, more so than a great war movie.
I'll take your word for it. I still haven't seen it.
It's pretty good. It's all about just that one soldier, and he has to deliver a message.
Okay.
And it is great cinema because they do long, like 17-minute long takes where it's like no camera cuts, so it just flows. You know what I mean? Like, and you feel like you're there. And it's pretty great. It's an awesome movie, but it's like there's a bunch of military movies that aren't necessarily war movies. Like Top Gun would be one. It's more military than it is actual war. There is a fight at the end, but meh.
It was just a recruitment video for the Navy, though.
Yeah, exactly. A Few Good Men.
Another
great military movie, not a war movie. You know? Yeah. Few Good Men is so good.
You can't handle the truth.
You know what's weird is that the older I get, the more I side with Jack Nicholson and the less I side with Tom Cruise.
I think that's how it's supposed to be.
If you watch it, you're supposed to root for Tom Cruise. You're supposed to be like, yeah, he got it, you know, whatever. Yeah. But
justice was done, but at the same time, that guy was kind of a major fucking liability.
Yeah. But also, Private Santiago sucked, dude. Like well, who ordered the code red? One of 15 people, man. Like, yeah, like a bunch of us were like, yeah, cool, totally, yeah, yeah. I don't know, like,
all right,
figure it out. Let's skip that one. Oh, okay, movie with the best soundtrack.
Ooh. God damn, there's so many. I know you're not a big Star Wars guy.
Okay.
Star Wars. John Williams, the original three, and then the new trilogy, or like not the new trilogy, the one that came out when we were.
Like prequels.
Yeah, the prequels.
Okay.
Like.
Okay, all right. Best like original scores and stuff.
Yeah, Duel of the Fates is a fucking hype song.
I can see that. Okay, all right. I will give you that. I'm not a huge Star Wars guy, but the music is iconic.
Yeah.
You know if you dun 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 dun, everyone knows that. Everyone knows those 6 notes, you know?
Either that or The Lord of the Rings. And if I had to pick a best movie...
That's a good one.
If I had to pick a best overall movie, I'm a fucking Tolkien nerd. But Lord of the Rings, through and through. And it's got to be all 3 of them. It can't just be the one. He shot them all at once. And that sounds snobby, but have yourself a brewski, watch all 3 of the extended editions, and you'll either be a virgin for the rest of your life, or you'll come away a changed person.
I love Lord of the Rings. I read all the books in 6th grade, and I mean I was obsessed with it. I loved it. That was right around the time that they were all coming out too. Like the movies were all coming out, and I couldn't get enough of it. And I think it. I mean, not only is it a great story, but it's a great world and a great, you know. That's my problem with Star Wars is that it's a great setting, but it all revolves around one family. And it's like, can't we get more characters in here? Can't we get like some more, like how are we have galaxies and galaxies and universes.
Why are there 8 people in it?
Yeah, why is it the same 7 people in everything, you know? And then I know people are going to attack me and be like, "Oh, you're an idiot." And it's like, okay.
All right,
But the main cast is still the same 8 people over a course of like 50 years. Yeah. And I don't like how much they're not making new stuff. Like all the shows.
They're retconning the old shit.
Yeah, they're retconning it because it was a. Listen, it's not a very well written movie. And there's a lot of plot holes in there that now this Dave Filoni, who I think is a genius, is going back and fixing. Yeah. And being like, he can't make anything to move the timeline forward because he has to fill in all these gaps.
And he can't unfuck what Disney's destroyed, but he can fix it and make it passable. Like,
yeah.
And that's the thing. He's a super fanboy, and he's what happens when you let a fanboy write the fan fiction.
I wonder if he had like plans and then he watched some of the movies and was like,
all
right, sure. Well, now I have to, like, can't do this, can't take it in this direction.
Yeah.
And now he's got to spend all his time backtracking.
He's like, you stabbed Han.
Oh, man.
Leia got blasted into space, but she's alive somehow. What the fuck?
That was when I
tuned out.
I almost walked out of the theater when that happened.
Yeah.
Because it didn't, not only did it not make sense, not only would it have been the perfect way to kill her off because
since
she died in real life, it would have been the perfect, such a sad, heart-wrenching ending to just be like, oh no, like that. But then she just did this stupid, like, Mary Poppins glide through the air, and it was so fake looking and so dumb. I was just like, what are we doing? Like, come on.
We've at no point established that Leia has the Force. What the fuck is going on?
And then they had to go back in the last episode and then they were like, okay, well, now we need to go back and show a flashback to her and Luke training a whole bunch. And it's like, okay, this is how she did it. But then they had to somehow film her death after she had already died in real life. And it's like, oh, man, you guys really just swing and a miss here. I felt bad for J.J. Abrams because he put out the first...
And it was enjoyable.
What was it? Episode 7?
Yeah.
Or whatever? And it was good.
Yeah, it was
And
enjoyable.
I went and I watched it and I was like, oh, this is cool. I like this. And then they killed Han, and I was like, oh, that sucks. But overall, it's still a pretty good movie. I like these new characters. It's going to be fun. And then the next one came out, and I was like,
what?
This is the worst thing I've ever. Like, what is happening? Do you remember that South Park episode where it was right after Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull came out?
George Lucas and Steven Spielberg are raping all the characters.
the boys are in the movie theater going,
the lawyer's just like, I remember going to see Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty good. And they're like, do you really? Or was it grainy and terrible? And it's just Indy getting deliverenced by George Lucas.
Yeah, it's so bad. Oh, man. That was such a good... dude, South Park is so great. It's so every time you think, they're like, oh, what are they doing here? You're like, oh, that's brilliant. Damn it. How did I not think of that? Movie with the best soundtrack. See, that's the best original soundtrack with like, you're right. Like the way he wrote the original songs and stuff like that. But I think best soundtrack for like with songs not made for the movie. Remember the Titans? Such a good soundtrack. Oh, such a good
soundtrack.
Such a good one. Oh man. There's just like every scene is just almost. I almost feel like the music drives the movie story a little bit. Yeah, but overall, it's not a great football movie. And then you find out like they like Disney-fied it.
Oh, big time.
Yeah, yeah. I there's some great points that I had a there's a comedian named Aaron Weber. Lives out of Nashville, a really funny guy, and he broke it down for me one time and explained like
it's like that
all the things. So like I don't, and then I saw him do it on stage, so I don't want to do his bit. But when he was breaking it down, I was like, oh yeah, you're right, that doesn't make sense. And It kind of ruined the movie for
Just
me,
a little
actually,
bit.
a little bit. But I mean, I don't know. Best conspiracy theory.
Oh, okay.
This can get. I asked Tone this yesterday, and for the next 20 minutes, he was like, "Welcome to my TED Talk," and just went off. And I mean, I let him cook. Like, just go, man.
All right, I've got a few. Best food conspiracy theory. Trix never changed their shape. They were always fruit. That 3-year period when they were just balls, the Trix cereal, they were never not fruit shaped. That 3-year period when it was just colored balls of sugar and bread is just, we were all super fucking depressed. And the world got depressing for a little bit.
Now I can't even picture Trix
As the fruit shapes?
Yeah.
Oh. Shit.
Did you just open my eye?
Mandela effect.
You just red-pilled me on my own podcast?
Yeah, welcome to my
I just
TED
came
Talk.
up from the Matrix and I had to unplug myself. Tricks were used to be shaped like fruit. Like that.
And now I'm here to sell you a pyramid scheme.
Yeah.
Okay. Government conspiracy theory.
There's so many.
Hitler never killed himself.
I believe that.
Yeah.
I'll go with that. The whole thing, like they have a skull or whatever, and they tested it, and it's a female skull, and
Yeah, Hitler never killed himself. Israel would not have invested so much money just to go after SS officers in South America.
oh yeah,
Like,
right.
It's
I mean, I can imagine they would go after some, but if they didn't, they definitely thought.
They definitely thought he got away.
Yeah.
And the Russians aren't going to tell us he didn't kill himself. They want credit. Like,
Yeah. What if we're talking about this and all of a sudden a dart just comes?
yeah. You win the highest award in journalism. The CIA takes you out.
All of a sudden, my car accelerates to 150 for no reason, right into the side of a bridge.
Yeah. All right. Best overall conspiracy though. Hollow Earth.
Oh, I love that. I would. When I was a kid, the center of the Earth was molten magma.
Yeah.
And now they're like, well, we think it might be just a solid iron core. And then they're like, it seems like every couple months they're like, actually, turns out the crust of the Earth is a lot deeper than we thought.
Turns out the Marianas Trench is about 4,000 feet deeper than we thought it was, and there was just a permanent layer of silt there. And it's
the fact that we've only explored like 6% of the ocean terrifies me.
Megalodon's still out there.
Well, if you look at the shipping lanes that like the whole world uses, there's certain places they don't go. They don't. They're like, we don't go there.
And you look at boats that do stray there, and they're there 1 second, and then they're just gone, and nobody asks questions.
Yeah, and like planes that go down and stuff, and it's like they landed in this spot, and they're like,
we can't go looking for it.
Yeah.
They just belong on the Lost Island now.
Do you remember that Malaysian Airlines a couple years ago that just disappeared?
And
yeah, and then they were holding a press conference. They're like, we've expanded the search, blah blah blah, and then a couple days later, they're like, turns out we were looking in the wrong ocean. It's like, what? What do you mean wrong ocean? Like what? But I think there's something going on there too. What about the guy that he invented a car that could run on water?
And they whipped him.
He went to a restaurant and took a bite or a drink of something and then shouted, "They killed me," and then died right there on the spot. That's an insane one. That's an insane one. The guy that wrote the story about the CIA giving crack to like Compton.
Yeah.
2 gunshots to the back of the head, suicide,
the body count that surrounds like half of our government.
Oh, yeah, right? Like all these unexplained deaths. Yeah, so you're like,
and they're just all conveniently suicides. It's like at a certain point.
Why is it that everyone that's opposed us has severe depression? Like, why is it? It's like none of these guys had stuff to live for. Nope, not a single one. Yep, that's. I think it is. I mean, it is crazy because, like, the way I remember when I was a kid, I'd watch movies about Russia and like the KGB and the secret police, and it was like super, like, oh man, I almost kind of feel that way now. Like in a not as bad,
No,
obviously,
not as
but
bad,
there
but,
are
like-
certain things where like sometimes I'm like, hey, maybe I don't want to say that on camera. You know, like there's definitely some things where you're like, hey man, I wouldn't poke that bear. Like,
Yeah, maybe we just don't talk about that one. Like,
yeah. I saw that that they're trying to propose some new law that every car gets a kill switch by like 2026 or something like that.
oh, they're trying to.
And I'm like, we're not even hiding it anymore. Like,
Dude, that's what the whole EV push is. That's all it is because EVs can be remotely controlled. And first of all, this is going to be a Jeff Foxworthy style "you might" segment. But if you think EVs are better for the environment, you don't read enough to have an opinion. They're not. They're so much worse. They might not pollute the air, but they destroy entire ecosystems. They use slave labor, and on top of that, they'll destroy your grid because our country isn't going to advance fast enough to support them.
well, that whole cobalt thing, man.
Yeah.
That's like, man, that broke my heart. Like when I found out about that, and I was like, I like watched it, and I'm like, surely not, right? Like
Right.
surely, and it's like, oh yeah, 100%. That's how you get your phone. That's how you get your car. That's how you
Fucking
get your
everything we use.
And you're like, oh damn, okay.
That's like the only way to be a quote unquote hippie and be real about it and not just be a poser is to pull a fucking Ted Kaczynski. Don't send the mail bombs.
Don't bomb people.
Yeah, don't send the mail bombs, but just go live off the grid with no power, make your own shoes and grow your own food. Otherwise, you're just talking shit. If you
Well,
got a cell phone, you're an idiot.
Speaking of conspiracies, like apparently he was part of that MK Ultra.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, like where they just dosed him with acid, and they're like, "Hey, what happens if we give this genius 17 hits of acid?" Like,
He's going to go a little bit crazy. and
yeah,
shoot
he's
his
gonna go down a
neighbor's
rabbit
dogs.
hole. Yeah.
That's-
Oof.
Do you
Yeah.
ever wonder if Alex Jones is a plant? Or if
I
he's
don't know.
really just that crazy.
I talked about this with Tone. Is that sometimes I feel like people that work in like conspiracies and stuff like that,
just spend too much time down the hole.
they get lost a couple times. Like they get lost in the sauce, but also sometimes I feel like they have to make claims that are so ridiculous it gets people to pay attention to a minor detail.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like saying like, "Oh, everyone in the government is a pedophile and they drink baby blood." Okay, well,
Clearly.
okay, not everybody's drinking baby blood, but there are a couple pedophiles, you know? And
Yeah.
it's like, okay, would we have paid attention if somebody was like, "Hey, I think some people are touching kids"? It'd be like, "Oh, that's terrible."
That's
Whatever.
terrible. Whatever.
But, you know, like, it's like you have to make it this big for
Yeah,
people to see
to
this
dial it
much,
in.
you know? Like,
I'll admit, I have an Alex Jones was right jar. I've got, I've
you
got
put a
about-
quarter in it every
yeah,
time.
I've got about $20 bills in it. It's fine.
Really? I love that one. There's one clip that's going around, and it says "Mom, why don't you go play with the neighbor kid?" And then it says "the neighbor kid," and it's just him, and he's like, "Why don't we rate possums like that?" That's my favorite Alex
seen it.
Jones
I've seen
clip
it.
of all time.
That's the thing too. He's
I
solid.
know. Why don't we rate possums? And it's like, what?
What?
Okay.
Tired of them putting shit in the water. That
They
makes
turned the freaking frogs gay. Somebody made that into a song.
Yeah.
It was like,
It's,
that's
it's
actually a
called
good beat.
Chemtrails. It's the DuckTales theme song.
Chemtrails. Ooh. Yeah. Speaking of which, DuckTales, I don't know if you know this or not, but they just remade it. Not just, it's already started and wrapped. Yeah, they did like 3 or 4 seasons, but it was really good.
I'll have to give it a
It
shot.
was the only time, it was one of the few times that somebody's taken something that I loved as a child, redid it, and actually made it better.
No shit.
Yeah, my kids and I watched it. Like, my daughter likes it. She's 15. My son likes it. He's 8. I like it. I'm in my 30s. Like, they keep the same theme song and all the same characters. They kind of like revamp it a little bit, and it's fun. Like, it's a great show.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I know that you said recently, like, you were talking about trying to start a family or whatever.
Yeah.
That's one of the few hidden surprises of having a kid, is that kids shows these days,
Some of them slap.
some of them are awesome. Bluey?
Bluey. Oh.
Bluey's fantastic.
My nephews love Bluey.
Bluey is one of the greatest things to ever come out of Australia. I mean, it's like, Chris Hemsworth, Margot Robbie, Bluey.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? Let's put Bluey on top.
Yeah, because you know what? Bluey's wholesome.
It is.
Like,
Dude, the dad from Bluey, every day I am like...
Fucking legend, mate.
I know. Oh, man. One of the best. And I always like... I wish I could be a dad like that. You know? Like... There's so many times where like I fail as a parent or like I feel like I failed as a parent. And I'm just like, oh, man. I let Bingo down today, you know. Like, wait, no, that's not. What's his name?
Bingo's the kid, Bandit.
Bingo's the kid, Bandit. That's his name.
I let Bandit down today.
I let Bandit down today. Dang it. Oh yeah, I love it, man. I love Bluey so much.
It's like the first when we started babysitting my nephews, they don't like SpongeBob, and I didn't know how to react to that because that was my old man moment where I was just like. No, like we like SpongeBob in this family.
Yeah, I can't imagine how you don't like SpongeBob.
But we watched a whole bunch of really weird shit. There was like something Tayo the little bus, and it was just
Tayo, yeah. My son was into that when he was really, really little.
Yeah, and then Bluey came up, and I was like, cool, I can tolerate.
We can do Bluey, yeah, Bluey.
And then I grew to love Bluey.
Throw on some DuckTales.
All right.
Crank out, if you have Disney Plus or whatever, crank out some modern day DuckTales, slaps. What's another one? Gravity Falls. Gravity Falls is an awesome show.
Really?
Yeah.
I know it was the same guy who did Rick and Morty, right? Or like the same animators.
I don't know who it might be the same animators, but I don't think it's the same guy. But Gravity Falls is so good. And there's so many surprise like voice actors in there and twists too, no. But surprise voice actors like Louis C.K.
No shit.
plays in one of the last episodes it's just a giant head that looks kind of like his head, but it's got an arm that comes out of the top with a hand, and he grabs the ground and pulls himself forward, and he just kind of goes around and he's like, who wants to get in my mouth? Who wants to let me eat them? Come on. Just get in my mouth. Come on, man. Like that.
The version of the show is him crawling up to strangers just like, hey, who wants to watch me?
Yeah. Yeah, I was about to say, that's kind of a creepy role, but maybe he's a method actor, you know? Like, well, we did about an hour and 20 minutes. So I think this is a good place as any to wrap it up. You want to plug? Oh, I forgot. Your social media or any shows or mics you got coming up you want to say?
I got some plugs for some buddies. I don't have any shows coming up.
Okay, cool.
But Wines and Punchlines, April 25th, City Winery. A couple of my good friends put that on. It's a really good show. You should go see it.
Yeah, Chris Oliver, Jack Wright, all friends, all former guests of the podcast. Yeah.
Yeah. And then socials, you can find me on Instagram. That's the only place I'm at.
Cool.
At joemetheway. And yeah.
Fun. Cool. All right. The last thing I ask everybody, I'm sure you know, you've watched the podcast. What's the best way to fix this? Anything you can think of to improve it?
Honestly, I don't have any criticisms.
Yeah.
But I would say maybe throw in some pictures in there for references when you're editing.
Yeah.
You've been doing that a lot more lately.
I've been trying to add stuff to it, and I've been trying to. I want to get to the point where the slides that I've made pop up on screen.
Oh hell yeah!
It's a lot more to time it out and stuff like that, and I'd love to get this format like that slide, just the just this background, and put it out there and have people write in their own.
Oh hell yeah!
But a lot of people don't realize like how simple it is to just add words to this or pictures or whatever. But also I want to try to do a live podcast soon because I think that would be fun. We'll just
see how she goes.
Yeah. You never know. You're always trying stuff, and then you go back to the comments, and everybody's like, "You should quit, kill yourself." And you're like, "All right, maybe that's fun too."
Fuck the haters.
Yeah, right. As I'm doing my best, I'm just trying my best.
Why don't you go make your own podcast, bitch?
Yeah, there was one guy today who commented on it. Commented on a video, and he was like, "This is so stupid. Obviously, you're just doing this to try to get followers." And it's like, Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
that's
you're right.
literally the
that's
point.
the point.
Like,
Yeah. I am a comedian. I'm trying to get people that want to come see me do comedy, and without burning all my material and in stand-up clips, like this is the only thing I could think of. And then I click on his profile and he had 2 followers. And I was like, all right, man, well, maybe you could take a page out of my book, okay?
Yeah.
Like,
how's it feel to shit talk from the outside of the club?
yeah. That's what is that song?
I don't know why people hate from outside the club.
You
Y'all
can't even get in. Yeah. What was that? Chingy? Is that Chingy?
It's gonna drive me crazy.
Yeah, it's gonna drive me insane now. All right, all right, man. Appreciate you coming on. You're welcome to come back anytime. Oops, sorry.